Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee with Inside the Firm. Each week, our hosts will be interviewing local, regional, and national business leaders to give you an inside peek into how they lead their business to success in the ever-competitive business climate.
Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee with Inside the Firm. Today I have a very special guest. Jim Tracy is a sought-after speaker and influencer on workplace culture and leadership, drawing on decades of real-world CEO experience, a serial entrepreneur, best-selling author, and podcaster with over 350 episodes. He has founded, scaled, and sold multiple businesses and even testified before the U.S. House of Representatives. Jim is also a licensed jet pilot trained by F-16 fighter pilots and a proud grandfather of 18 that he goes hunting with, earning honors including induction to the Wireless Hall of Fame and recognition as a business icon of Idaho. Jim, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, man. What a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you're a stud. Before we get into what you do now, I got to ask everybody kind of a similar question on my show because I'm just so curious about it. Is like, are you from a family of entrepreneurs? Where does your entrepreneurial spirit come from?
You know, I think it really originated with my grandfather, who was an entrepreneur, but there wasn't any after him other than me. And after I started, then we kind of started a little avalanche. I got 6 brothers and a sister, and so now even my grandson has started his own business. It's really cool to watch.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Do you think you influenced the grandson? You had to have.
Oh yeah. His dad and I were business partners in the telecommunications business. And so he lived it. I mean, he watched us run into the mailbox seeing if we were going to make payroll.
So that would scare some people. Apparently he liked it.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, that's cool. Tell us where the I think it's Grampian.
Grampian.
Grampian. Where did is that your phrase? Did you make that up?
No, I'm not that bold. I was playing cards with one of my grandsons. His name is Wes, and I beat him. And Wes is a really competitive dude. But he was like 12 or 13 years old then, and he stood up after I won, and he turns to me and he says, "You're not Grandpa." And I'm like, "What, man? You can't get away with saying that to me." He said, "Well, you're not a champion." And I'm like, "Hey, Wes, grab a hold of it." And he got that smile on his face. He says, "You are the Grampian." And it stuck. And my grandkids started calling me the Grampian. So I'll take it, man. It's one that
Dude,
I'm really proud of.
I would take that too. That is fantastic. Good for you.
Yeah.
You really are living a good life. With that intro I gave, I'm sure the audience is like, pilot, licensed jet pilot. Tell us about that journey. Like, when did you start, and then jets and all this other stuff?
I was 47 years old, and I was out in South Dakota with my dad, and we saw a plane. I looked up. I said, "Dad, when is the last time you were up in a plane?" He explained it was a long time ago with a partner and they looked at all the old haunts and farms that they worked at and stuff like that. And he kind of wistfully said, "I'd give anything to do that again." And that was in April. And I took him on his next flight, 172 rented out of Fargo Jet Center and in October. And that led to a passion for aviation that kind of rested latent with me since I was a kid. And at 62 years old, I was flying from Bozeman to Boise over the River of No Return wilderness area. And I had a single engine, and I thought, wow, if I lose an engine, man, it's going to be a prophecy. It is going to be the river of no return. And so I started flying jets. I got trained by some incredible people, award-winning jet pilots with 27 years in a F-15. Yeah. So blessed, man.
Very, very much so. Jeez. I think your business is like a garage business story. And I love those where you're like, I started it out of, yeah. Ours was that apartment. So and then you say, I actually have a meme finally ready for this. There's like Apple, there's a picture of a garage, Jeff Bezos with, in a garage. And there's a lot of that. And it's just very Americana.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that journey? It's very near and dear to my heart.
My son came home from his job one night and he was talking about some struggles at his new job building towers. And I went out to his job site and it wasn't very safe. So I did towers when I was a kid, but they were power line towers, and these are
Hmm.
communication facilities. And so I started digging into him a little bit. Like you gotta be safe or not do this. And one night he kind of got tired of me saying that, and he said, "Well, if you're so hot, let's you and I do it." And that day Legacy was born, and so it was two people, and it turned into a couple of hundred, and then we merged with private equity, and it turned into 1,000, and lo and behold, the lessons that we learned, people, it looks like are it's resonating with them both in the speaking and the books and things like that.
Yeah, and now they call you the curator of culture. What
Yeah.
is that?
It was pretty funny. I did a presentation for a company. It was a private corporate event, and I did them, and when I finished, they're like, "Dude, you were the curator of culture."
Mm,
And I was a little bit offended. I'm like, "Curator, that's like an old dude who dodders around a museum." And they're like, "No, no, it's Latin and it means to care for. You're the
yeah.
person who cares for culture." And I was like, "Whoa." It's kind of like the Grampy thing. I didn't invent it, but man, I'm going to own it.
Yeah. So that's another, but there's a buzz phrase that we've heard over and over again in the corporate world, and that is culture. Well, it's just a word,
Mm.
just culture is like,
Yeah,
and it's kind of it's a little too foo. And I've found it to be like foo-foo. It's like,
yeah,
what does that mean? Like, what does it mean? I need to create this company culture. What
yeah.
the heck even is that?
Okay,
And how do you do it? Right. So like I would love to hear more about, and I'll give you one example first, and then I'll shut up because you're about
sure.
to, yeah, I know you're about to answer this question. It's like for us, part of our company culture, it's like there's different activities that we do, and it's not like the kind I think that a lot of people think where they're like, we're gonna all go play baseball together now.
Yeah,
It's for us, it's tradition stuff. Every Friday we've done this for 16 years now. Every single Friday, and it first started with just me and Al, and it happened organically. Where when it was just me and Al out of our apartment, working out of his apartment, is we would go play noon ball with all of our other buddies who weren't even a part of the. And then we were like, hey, we worked out. We deserve like a greasy burger, and so we get a lunch, and then now it's every Friday, we take staff out for lunch. Talk
yeah,
it's just part of the deal.
yeah,
Another one is we read a book every year at the beginning of each year,
yeah.
and then we have a book club. So that anyway, there's things like that. I'm curious about like the sort of tools and strategies you give people. What is culture? Sounds like you were going to define it for us.
Well, I mean, you're right. In terms of HR, it's granola bars and free pop.
Bingo.
And people look at that and they go, well, that's good for like 2 minutes, or as long as you can nurse a soda pop.
Hmm.
What is culture? When people come to me, and a lot of times I deal with people and their culture's already broken. And
Mm.
contrary to popular opinion, it's really easy to fix. What businesses must do is revive their culture. By that, I mean they must create a blueprint, which is kind of what I do, craft a blueprint where when people show up in the morning, they want to be there. And when people leave at night, they want to come back. That's a good culture. That
Mm.
defines a good culture. That actually is the easiest thing to do. And I really talk about it in terms of the way we treat people. Because it's not how many granola bars and which flavor of, natural soda or free coffee bar or buy in some half-baked burritos and have a staff meeting that everybody is just dreading. It's like actually engaging the people. And that happens when we generously listen and when we take the time to build relationships and then we foster an environment that respects people for who they are, not just what they do. That simple.
It's that simple. I'm so glad you said it, especially the beginning part. For me, it's like I know our metric. One of my metrics is when I hear staff go, "Oh my God, it's already Thursday." Oh my God, it's already Friday. Or they'll sometimes they'll be working so
Yeah.
diligently on a Friday, they'll go, "Oh shit, it's 5. I gotta get out of here. I
I
gotta get out
forgot
of
to go
here."
home.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's fucking awesome." And that, because
Yeah.
the thing we try to do with college, especially we've tried to buck the trend a lot as architects
Hmm.
that run an architecture firm where I go like,
Sure.
we're done with this, grinding people to
Yeah.
death. Like we live in Colorado for a reason. Go to the mountains. Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Friday at 5. Get to the mountains. Go
Yeah.
do your thing. Work hard, play hard, and really, really live by it and put framework and strategies in place for that.
Yeah. And when people get a chance to air it out like that and they come back on Monday, and they left a happy place, all of a sudden now they're not just refreshed, they're recharged. And they're
Bingo.
ready to roll. They're ready to keep the main thing the main thing.
Hmm.
Just as important on the weekend to keep the main thing as it is when you show up at work on Monday morning. Probably more important, at least your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to have you on the show for many reasons. Your bio resonated with me, the garage story, the culture part of it.
Yeah.
Another one is just for me was when you wrote a book about building men.
Yeah.
I have 3 boys, 1 girl, and I'm very much of the opinion that we've pushed down young men really difficult,
Hmm.
really in the past decade specifically. And there's a lot of statistics now that are coming out where especially young white straight men are sort of the enemy.
Mm.
There's a lot of suicide, there's a lot of depression, male loneliness is a buzz phrase that is thrown around a lot,
Sure.
which is
Yeah.
real. Tell us why you wrote a book about building men.
I wrote a book that actually celebrates the people who across 60 plus years have invested in me when they didn't necessarily have the time. Sometimes they didn't have the resources. Sometimes they probably, I probably was not the most coachable guy on the planet. I can guarantee you that.
Hmm.
But I had people, starting with my grandfather, all the way through my grandsons, and all those people in some one form or fashion invested in me, not for something they could get back, but because it was the right thing to do. And the reason that I think, it hit number one new on Amazon in business mentoring. And I think the reason it
Mm.
did is because we have forgotten how. There used to be, there was an apprenticeship model. There was something like that in architecture. There was something like that in the electrical trades, in carpentry, in masonry, all these things where we taught people what they should do so they could be what they wanted to be. And as the people who have been around the block before, we've abdicated our responsibility to train those coming up behind us because we're in a money grab.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great homage. Geez, I want to copy you because there's a gentleman that I talk about a lot on when I guest on shows and on this show, and his name is Bruce, and he's a general contractor. He was my first boss outside of like my dad, who's the farm lead.
Yeah.
It's forever changed my life. First entrepreneur, and he was a builder. I wanted to be a builder first, just emulate him.
Hmm.
So that's fantastic. What is the cultural revival blueprint? That's something.
Um, yeah, well, when companies get in trouble, the usual first sign of something gone wrong is a place where people don't want to go to work anymore. And
Yeah.
much like a builder, I mean, this is really going to resonate with you. If you want to go somewhere and get something done, you want to go out and build a house, you want to build a commercial structure, how do you do it without a blueprint? What is a blueprint? A blueprint is a picture of where you want to end up. A blueprint is a process diagram that says, if I want to go from here to there, that's how we do it. You can't really build a wall without a floor, and you can't build a floor without a foundation. You can't build a foundation without excavation. So you better start with the big stuff and finish with the little stuff. And the culture revival blueprint is where we break down where you want to go. What do you want to look like? And a lot of times I deal with entrepreneurs, and it's so funny. They're like, I just started this company and it grew so fast, and it was wonderful, and I hate my job. Like, oh, well, that's probably a pleasant place to work. I mean,
Yeah.
now you've got money, time, resources, maybe not so much time, but now
Yeah.
you've got the things that you asked for, but the business that you built doesn't look like what you wanted when you started. Let's go back and find out what that looked like, and then let's find a way to fix it.
Yeah.
Let's build what you wanted it to look like when you began.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. People lose sight of that. Do you
Yeah.
ever talk with, so there's another thing that I've heard you talk about in researching you, and that's like management by cliche.
Yeah.
I really piqued my interest.
So I wrote this first book and the publisher said, "Hey man, we're going to do a 3 book deal," and I was like, "I don't know if I got a second one in me." And so what I did is I looked back and I was talking to one of my old employees. He goes, "I think you should write down all the cliches that you used on us because they worked." And so Management by Cliche is a book that's at the publishers now, and it's business proverbs that stood the test of time. And like if you look at some of the things that I said, a lot of them are stolen. I mean, they're that if you think about proper prior planning prevents poor performance, everybody knows it, but nobody's ever really written it down. It's an old English Army proverb, but they're used in business all the time. And we just recreated and recrafted a lot of the ones that were from me, and
Hmm.
that'll be out in probably March.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get the book deal? A lot of folks they're not going to publishers these days because they're doing a self-publishing.
Yeah. And I think, if you want to impact your grandchildren,
Hmm.
I got 19, 20 grandkids. One is going to be a great. I can't announce that here though. Yeah, I just did. Um,
Congratulations. That's
yeah, there's the
fantastic. Yeah.
scoop. But if you're going to impact their lives, um, they got to get to know you. In order to get to know you, when you write, you become a serious person. And not that everything you say has to be, dreary and big. It's just like this is a way for them to get to know me even when I'm not around. And which is why we love podcasting too, because these things are going to live on evergreen for as long as there's an internet.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, the internet's forever.
yeah,
Man, Jim, I hope we meet one day. I just love how blessed you are with you're very much I'm a Genesis 128 guy. You're kind of living it.
yeah,
Be fruitful and multiply.
yep,
Um, no, there's 2 questions I ask every guest as we end the show and with their episode. And that first one is knowing what you know now, and if you go back in time when you first started your business, what is one piece of advice you give former Jim?
Start 3 decades earlier, 2 decades earlier anyway. The entrepreneurial journey is probably not for everyone, but I think anyone with the drive is capable of doing it. And again, it's just I would probably be a really really poor employee now. I used to be a great employee when I had an employer, but now I would probably struggle with that because I see a vision for the end, and I want to take the most expedient path to get there. So yeah, but I would start earlier.
I love that. That's probably I haven't I have a goal to get all of the shows I do transcribed and then eventually compile a book. And because I just wanted to, and where I'm going with this is like I don't have the data on it yet, but that answer is the one I've heard be most common, which I really
Yeah,
appreciate. That other because there's a lot of people on this show that like we're trying to just inspire to be entrepreneurs. I think
yeah,
the world would continue to get better if there's more entrepreneurs. There's more skin in the game. It takes a lot of personal responsibility. It's inspiring. There's more freedom. There's just
yeah,
happiness. Yeah,
yeah.
all with that for sure. Jim, if people want to follow you, get in touch, get the books, give us a plug.
Yeah, anywhere on Amazon you can get the books. Just do a search for Building Men. And I love it when people listen to the podcast because we have great, like you. We try to get guests who are interesting and stimulating and maybe stir the pot a little bit, but never anything negative, you know. So the Grampian, Grampion. Or thegrampian.com. Yeah, there's if you look for Jim Tracy, you'll find me or a professional Colorado baseball manager.
There you go. Yeah, I love that so much. Jim, you have been such a pleasure. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for giving up some of your time today. I wish you the best.
Lance, appreciate you. Take care now.